Welcome, listeners, to the Gamer Headlines Show. Gamer Headlines' weekly entertainment podcast. This is episode 61 and the final podcast of the year.
2015?
Well, in terms of Gamer Headlines Show.
Yeah.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Adnan Reyes. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Chris Cortez.
Wait, I just understood what you said, like, the final podcast of the year. Well, I mean, I guess just Gamer Headlines Show. Like, we it's like that joke in Family Guy. I know every pilot in the world. Like, we know every podcast in the world. I assure you, this is the final one. Hello, everybody. Yes, I am here now. Man, we're going off the grid this week. No, we're dropping the format this week. We're just doing one thing, and I think it's something we kind of have to do before 2015 ends. This is all Adnan's idea too, but we're gonna have something. It's not really an award ceremony or anything like that. It's more like of a year in review kind of thing. I think we did something similar to this last year, but basically, Adnan and I are just going to kind of talk about, what gaming wise, what the hell happened this year? What did we buy? Like, what did we like? What did we hate? When did we cry? When did we laugh? When did we get angry and throw the controller? Hint, any Batmobile moment in the Arkham Knight. But, so we're just going to kind of like talk all about that, any surprises we had. How do you want to start this, Adnan? Do you want to? Because we're just free flowing here. Do you want me to start first, or?
Yeah, if you want to go.
All right. Well, I don't really know where to begin, so I'll just talk about the very first game I bought this year. Because I, like a nerd, kept track of everything I bought this year, gaming wise. Partly for financial purposes, but also because I'm a nerd. But the first game I actually bought, and ironically, I'm getting the twin title. Is going to be my first game for 2016, but Resident Evil HD Remaster. That was the first game I bought back in January for $20 on PSN. And dude, it was I really dug it. It was really cool. I was so excited that it was my first game that I actually bought the strategy guide for the game way back in 2002, I think it was, when the GameCube original came out. So I found my old strategy guide that had been rained on, like someone left it outside and fucking rain was all in it, like the pages were stuck together. Looked like a fucking Playboy. And
Thank you.
Of course. I don't know what I implied there, but it was really fun just getting that out and looking through it, and it was cool, man. It was such a great way to start off the year. I felt like I was a teenager again, playing through like old classic style Resident Evil, and I think for what it was an excellent remaster. And like I mentioned, my first game for 2016 is going to be Resident Evil 0 HD Remaster, which also came out on the GameCube. And for those of you, by the way, who've never, and this goes for Adnan as well, who haven't bought the remaster, definitely get if you're interested in it, pick up the physical release. I think it's called Origins Collection that comes out next month. It's going to have both of them together, and it's so worth the purchase. I actually wish I had waited, because I would have rather had a physical copy, but I'm not going to buy the same game twice. I'm just gonna get the digital RE0. But yeah, that was my first game I got this year. It was really cool.
That's pretty good.
Do you remember your first game, dude?
Oh, fucking hell. Let me think. It'd be Life is Strange.
Oh, that started in January, did it?
Yeah, it started at the end of January.
Okay.
Yeah, that was right at the end of January, so that would technically be my first game of the year.
Shit.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of strange, especially how much I liked it as well. Because I remember I was kind of like on the rocks of like how much I was like on this year, like the games I was waiting for, and then we always got the Phantom Pain release date a little bit later on. We're like, it's gonna be 2015 is gonna be the greatest year ever. Like, kind of jumping up and down. But no, I played that, and it was very much the biggest surprise of the year for me. Definitely feel like it's worth picking up, especially with next year's retail releases. I think the first episode's free as well on the Square Enix Humble Bundle sale.
Yeah, right.
What they have. No, great game. Great game. Really, really, really enjoyed that game. Like, it was just fantastic. One of the best episodic formats I've seen, like structure, narrative-wise, kind of not really on the gameplay side. There's no kind of like emphasis on gameplay. It's more about the story it's telling and choices and everything else. So I think like overall that was a solid game for me to start the year off, and kind of like led into a lot of games that came out, Mortal Kombat, Batman. They're not all great, but I mean, like there was still like great moments from it. Overall, I think the year's been pretty decent though for gaming. Like it's kind of like set itself up quite nicely for the next year.
Yeah.
I
You
mean, like,
no, sorry, go ahead.
go, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna no, because I was gonna kind of derail a bit, but you said that that was your surprise game of the year, and I think my surprise game, like the game I didn't think I would buy this year, and I ended up buying it and being very surprised how much I liked it, was actually The Witcher 3. I
Yeah,
yeah, I dude, at that point I'd never played Witcher 1 or 2, but that game got such an overwhelmingly positive reception with reviewers. Like it was like every reviewer, not just like a couple, praised it up and down, and I think GameSpot gave it its illustrious 10 out of 10 score, which is like very rare.
yeah.
And I said, "Fuck, I need to buy this game." And I did, and I super don't regret it. Like it was such it was such a good game. It was my game of the year for the longest time until the Phantom Pain, and it was really fun. I ended up buying for $5. It was on sale for $5 the first two games, Witcher 1 and 2. I so fucking hated those games. Like Witcher 3 is the best for me. I mean, I'm there might be people that think the trilogy is great. I despise the first two games. I thought they were terrible, but part 3 is just so good. Like honestly, dude, at this point I would tell anybody that is thinking of buying it, either get it on sale or wait until they have, one of those like game of the year editions that have like both expansions thrown
Yeah.
in, because I know they're probably
Yeah.
going to do that.
Yeah, you can tell it's happening.
Yeah, and the expansions are great too, by the way. That was the first one came out I think like in October, and I think the second one comes out early next year. The expansions are so good. They're not like how some developers will like do a really cheap expansion that like really sucks and has no real like, you could tell they just like Assassin's Creed. Those expansions are terrible. Every single one of them is so bad. And Witcher 3 is like totally like more of what you loved. It wasn't like, oh, let's experiment and make something harder because we already got them by the balls. They bought the game and they bought the DLC. No, they're just adding more content to what you already love. And
Yeah.
I think the next one is 20 hours long. The next expansion is like a whole fucking game. This one that came out was 10 hours long. So combined, it's like 30 extra hours to The Witcher 3. So, but yeah, that was my surprise. That game is so fucking great. I'm gonna definitely keep an eye on that.
See, I haven't
developer.
played that game. What's more fascinating about the fact that CD Projekt Red did that game, and
Yeah.
then the fact that it's already a third installment in a game series which many people haven't even played or remotely touched.
Hmm.
The fact that they are a new studio approaching something like it came out, the woodwork out of everything. I don't know how much expectations people set on the game, whether there were any expectations to start off with. It's just kind of fascinating to think about what they really achieved with it and how much glowing praise it got, and how it's really kind of like, been overshadowed by the Phantom Pain or any other big AA release. It's really stood its ground and won so many awards this year. It's a phenomenal thing, and obviously I've only been watching videos, but like I've heard a lot of people saying that, Bethesda, who people love Fallout and everything else, like their big like open worlds and stuff. They're saying that developers like Bethesda need to look at what CD Projekt Red did with The Witcher 3 and learn
Yeah.
what they did with those mechanics, which
Yeah.
says a lot that there's kind of like that racing things. Even I've said that with like Life is Strange. I think like Telltale needs to take a page out of Don't Nod's book of how you approach episodic formats and kind of keep people engaged, keep them relevant, etc., etc.
Hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I agree with that. I've played Skyrim, and I remember I bought Skyrim on sale for like $10, like 4 years after it came out, or something like that. And I remember I was playing it, and I'm like, man, this is like super disappointing. I thought everyone said this game was awesome. Like, I don't care about this game. And I saw the appeal. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And then, but Witcher 3, like, I agree with that. I think it's totally like what that kind of like fantasy open world type game should be. I mean, it was fucking delightful. It was so good. Um,
Yeah.
did you have a disappointing purchase of the year? I could tell you already. Mine was rare replay actually, which is not to
Really?
say it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's an excellent compilation. It was only $30. It gave me plenty of laughs. I thought the behind the scene documentaries were great. I just wish that everything would have been unlocked from the start. I really hated that they forced me to play some of their games because, like, not all the, it's 30 games, $30. There's bound to be some stinkers, and there were. Like, there's a lot of games there that just didn't. They're too old school for me, or I didn't really like them, and I hated that I had to fucking beat them to like unlock the excellent, because the documentaries were so good, and it's like at that point you might as well just go to YouTube and watch them, like. So that was kind of, yeah. I wish I would have like not bought that, and plus I think it was on sale for like $10 the other day on like Xbox, and I was like, fuck, I could have gotten it for $10 instead. Shit. So yeah, it's good though. I would say get it for like $10 if it's still on sale.
Probably the biggest disappointment would be Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah, I could. You've been pretty. You told me them tales.
Yeah. No, that game was very interesting for what it was, like Arkham Knight. I think the hype factor kind of grew too much into it. Like, I think everyone was so hyped on it, and then it'd been delayed 2 times that, it was still kind of like almost Watch Dogs asking people like, it's going to be something phenomenal, blah, blah. And it was really, really underwhelming. The entire product is like, just when you play, you kind of feel like it's one of those games I'm only going to play once and probably never ever go back to it, because it just wasn't a fun experience. The Batmobile crippled that game, even though it was meant to be its core mechanic. Storylines were predictable, kind of almost like dragging along the lines of being boring. The forced kind of open world missions that really annoy and agitate people. The fact of, we need to complete this Riddler challenges to finish and unlock the final game. No, I'll just go on the internet and look on YouTube. That's kind of the mentality people have now. It's like you don't even have to like do that crap. You just can go on the internet, watch it. There you go.
Yeah. Which sucks too, right? Because like you did everything else in the game, all the other side missions. Why make that? Why have a collectathon? It's just so like.
Well, it's like when we were talking out of kind of our own circle, where people like when you see Riddler go down to the ground, we're like, you know what? I'd probably just leave him in there.
Yeah, we're like, fuck you, Riddler. We saved Catwoman. Like, you're no threat. We'll just keep.
Yeah, instead of fighting him, like, just be like, okay, see you later, take care, bye bye. Like, fuck, go down that hole, and like, he can stay there and fucking rot in it for all I care. No, it was just disappointing for what Rocksteady did. Rocksteady did like with the entire franchise, and people like lamenting Arkham City, was it? Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins. Sorry, Arkham Origins. People like completely coming down on that, saying, "Oh yeah, it was because Rocksteady weren't on it," or whatever else. It says everything with what this expansion was. And then obviously I looked at the season pass. I told you it was going to be terrible, Chris, and yet you decided to purchase it.
Actually, let's take the time right now to talk about that, because because I finally have all the content, and I've been wanting to do it. Dude, let me tell you, actually, for the season pass, for what it is, I have like 3 different ways I could say this. Do I think I got $40 worth of content? Yes, I think I received $40 worth of content. Was all of the content good? Well, no, of course not. There was like some stuff that was shit. I'll give you an example of what was really bad. Well, actually, before I do that, basically what you received in the DLC was a fuckload of skins, be it for the Batmobile,
which should be free if any developers try to develop them. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the skins, actually. I liked the different, not so much the Batmobile ones, but I really liked the ones for Batman.
The classics.
Like the different suits were really fucking cool. Some of them, I think, like seeing the 1989 Batman suit, Michael Keaton one, that was so fucking cool. It looks great, and so does the Batmobile. That's just like a childhood fantasy to be able to drive around in that. That's another thing. The Batmobiles are really cool too. The new ones that they created, I thought all of them were like really cool in their own way. The racetracks, that was another DLC thing. Those were pretty neat. The AR challenges, I actually ended up enjoying some of them. They were either hit or miss. Some of them were fun. Some of them were complete dog shit and were just stupid. But I think they should have been included in the game because the other Arkham games had those as well. This was where the shit comes in. So the extended story part, right? Like they added more story. There's 2 different kinds of stories. There's something called Gotham stories, I think, Gotham City story, or Arkham stories. I forgot.
Not to be misinterpreted with Snake Tales.
Yeah,
the great side missions of Metal Gear 2 Substance. Just making sure, Chris. Just making sure, clarifying that.
Of course. The Gotham stories or Arkham stories were all terrible. They were really bad. Yeah. I cannot recommend them at all. They were. it was basically them getting very small like story vignettes or whatever the hell it's called, and just ramping up the difficulty so high so that there's like pseudo, you know, like oh man, I got my money's worth because it took me a while to beat this. No, it was just very cheap and stupid and reusing of assets. But I will say this: the Season of Infamy, which is an actual expansion to the core game, that was fucking awesome. The Season of Infamy was worth it. I think that is the best part. Honestly, dude, to go back to answer the question. Do I regret getting the season pass? No, because I got Arkham Knight for free, and I bought the season pass for $40. So if you really think about it, I spent $40 on the game and the season pass together. But I would never recommend the season pass to anyone. I would say
that's what I was going to bring up. I was going to say, like, because obviously we're talking about in the context that
right.
But if you were paying $80 for this package together,
it would not be worth it.
Exactly, it's a different story completely. Because I think that's what it's kind of like hinting towards. I think like.
Right.
That's what the interest... Because I feel like if I'm going to pay $40 worth of it, I'd expect free expansion packs along the lines of The Ballad of Gay Tony, The Lost and the Damned, and, like, you know, Infamous First Light. You know, those big core kind of, like, things to the game. Well, that's what I'd expect on... No, go ahead.
So I was going to say, technically, it is 2 expansions, because if you get all of those, like, single stories and you combine them, it's about the size of Season of Infamy. The problem is, all the little single story things with the separate characters, they all suck. So they're terrible. Yeah. So I can't say that's where I guess the value is kind of, because like if you add it all up, if you add all the DLC up, you are saving money. But that's the thing, you don't want to buy all the DLC. All you want to get are I would tell people get the Batmobile racetrack things because that was fun as fuck, and get what is it called, the Season of Infamy, and that's it. Yeah. You know what? When they they're gonna release the Game of the Year edition next year for $60, and it's gonna have all the DLC. I would tell people honestly, it's worth $60. I would say buy the $60 version and get everything. But if you have the game as it is, don't buy the season pass unless it's like 20. Like if it's $10, maybe $20, get it. I think it was on sale. $20, but anyway, finally, God, I've been wanting to say this all year. Like, I know we've been talking about it, but that is Chris's review on the Season Pass. So just get Season of Infamy. It was excellent. It's really, I think, honestly, Season of Infamy is better than some of the things in the game. Like, no, what was it? Robbing the Two-Face, fucking robbing the bank. There is so many better stories in Season of Infamy. The Mr. Freeze one was great.
See, this is the thing, though. What kind of my argument jumps back to is that the fact that I didn't like the game to start off with, I wouldn't invest in the season pass because I don't think that anything could justify it. Because I said, like, the kind of the Batmobile, the excessive kind of force and using it, kind of like, no, even when it's meant to be an open world game where it offers, like as you know, Kojima kind of did with like unparalleled freedom in MGS5. That's what I felt with MGS5. I had that opportunity. I could go running down fucking the entire Afghanistan in D Walker if I wanted to, and kind of like go crazy on it. But wasn't that. It was like, use the Batmobile to fucking ride around Gotham. It's just like, I was kind of like, oh. Do you know what the worst part is, though? The expectation for people was, we kept seeing the Batmobile in the first 2 games, and it was like, oh shit, we really want to control that. And then when it got into the 3rd game, you're like, nah, you can take that back because I don't really want that now, because I've seen what it's doing, and it's kind of almost crippling the game, even though it's Batman's main gadget, main kind of like component, a great kind of asset you'd have. It just doesn't feel right in Gotham, and the fact that the entire town's empty.
Which, by the way,
again, is another problem. Even though I know they probably made that kind of ridiculous story that they've evacuated people. Yeah. There's only like 4 people in the street every so often. Like,
my fear toxin, Batman, the Dark Knight, it's all gone. But actually,
just flying over the sky. Out am I?
No, out are they? I told them to go back.